This is the Lenovo B5400. Make sure the computer is off, unplug, and you take the battery off as well. So we start taking out these main screws. Take this little lid off. We're going to use a standard screwdriver with the appropriate star head. No special needs. If you're not familiar with using it, maybe a magnetized screwdriver will help. Okay, you pull out the plastic cover, the plastic frame of the screen. It's quite straightforward. You also want to put a cloth on top of the keyboard, and you'll see later why. Okay, so there's 4 main screws and 2 extra screws on the bottom, and so you just unscrew them. Quite straightforward. There's 3 sets of screws. I recommend to keep them separately, so it's easier to later on put them back on. Okay, so once you've unscrewed the screen from the back cover, okay, here we can see this is the original part, the original screen from the Lenovo B5400, and that is the connector. That's quite the most delicate part of the process, unplugging this connector. You do it very gently. Okay. Now we take the new screen out of the box from laptopscreen.com. This is also the part number from the new screen. You'll see it straight away. So now you need to unscrew the old screen from its metal frame, and there's 4 bolts, 4 screws for that. So you take those out as well. Keep them separately, not to mix them with the other ones. You take out the old one, there's no problem with that, and put the new one back in its place. Remember to put a cotton cloth on top of the keyboard. So you adjust the new screen to the existing holes in the metal frame. Okay, there are more than 4 holes, but it's the extreme ones, the ones in the corner. So you just have to fit them and then screw the little bolts again. Once again, if you're not familiar with screwing delicate parts, a magnetized screwdriver will help you with that. Now the other delicate part is putting the connector back in again. To do that, you have to place it flat in front of the screen connector. You place it flat and you push in very gently, almost with your nails, very gently. This white cable, you have to take it out perhaps of its place in order to have some movement for the connector, and then make sure you put it back in its place. Don't let it loose out of its place, because later on it might get on the way when you put the plastic cover. Once you've placed the connector, you screw the screen to the back cover again. That little piece of silver tape that's on the bottom of the screen, make sure something like that doesn't happen. Push it back in, and later on you'll see why I had to redo one part. Okay, you screw the 4 corners first. Don't tighten up on the first place. Just tighten at the end of it. This bottom right corner is quite tricky. There is a gray cable that goes through it. Make sure you don't get it with a screw, or it doesn't get on the way of the plastic lid. Okay. Once you've bolted the 6 screws back in, you place the plastic frame, plastic cover back in again. It snaps pretty easily. Yeah, make sure what I said about the silver tape. You can see here the bottom doesn't fit perfectly, so I had to take it out and hide the tape, and then it fitted perfectly with no problem. And pretty much that's almost it. The last screws, you probably won't be able to put the lid. And there you go. On the first attempt, and it worked perfectly. These white dots you see, those are dust, and that's why I'm saying to put the cotton cloth. But anyway, it worked perfectly at the first attempt. It took about 45 minutes with a little help of my 2 kids. So, all right, thank you.